Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Shahi, and this is my Glamour unfiltered video. The success of the show and why people have sort of really gravitated towards it, it's because it takes a real raw look at sexuality. We're making a show about this woman who is in the midst of an identity crisis. And she's a fantastic mother and she's got a great life, but there's something missing. There's something that's just not enough. And I think it's a common thing that a lot of people can relate to. Women, like oral, and women, like to be fondled, and this is what it is. And this is what we expect of our partners. This is what we want. Yeah, myself, I've definitely been knocked down a few times by things. And it just really makes you wonder about who you are, what you want to put out into the world. Especially as women, I feel like we have these stereotypes that are put on us. By a certain age, we've got to get married and we have to have kids. And once that happens, you have to dress a certain way and you have to act a certain way. You're not supposed to want sex the way you used to have it. It's supposed to be this much more tame version of your life that you're supposed to enter. But those things don't go away, and those things still shape who we are. For me, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I just wanted something so much more than what was in front of me. And, there was a big freedom that happened when I turned 40. And I was just like, here I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, the insecure. I'm not going to make apologies for it. And I'm going to put it out there. And I wouldn't trade that moment for any part of my 30s, any part of my 20s. It's a privilege to grow older, and it's a privilege to carry wisdom with you. And one of the things I've always said is, I don't claim to know much, but I do know more than I did last year. One of the things that Billie, the character I played, does so boldly is she constantly is questioning, where did that other girl go? Because she still feels it. She feels it so much. And it's a very natural cycle, I think, that couples in relationships and long-term relationships get to as they become compliant and they ignore each other. And, it's like other priorities take over. I feel like through life, we have people, that influence us, and they tell us their opinions or they judge us, or you should be happy. You've got everything you want. You have a, providing husband, or you have a providing wife, or you have the white picket fence, or whatever it is, but Billie is so brave, and she really encouraged me to live my life, boldly to the fullest, because she's saying, I have it, but I'm missing something. And it's against what her friends think. It's against of what society is telling her to do, but she cannot ignore her soul. She cannot ignore that flame inside. I've had sexist remarks being made to me by various showrunners in my past. I don't consider myself a victim by any means. I think we have a choice. We have a choice in how we can respond to things. There are so many different ways to be a feminist, and a feminist can have lots of different meanings, actually. It can be so big or so trivial to some people, depending on their own personal definitions of it. You have to find out what that means for you, not what society tells you a feminist is. What is a feminist for you? The Brad scenes mostly were all in flashback. So we had to shoot me in a way that was very complimentary. And with the Cooper stuff, I really just wanted to be me. And, there are scenes where you can see my stomach doesn't look 100%. It doesn't look great. And I'm proud of it. It's like I never quite realized the power of my body until I had children, until I breastfed all my children. Now I'm proud. I'm supremely proud of every stretch mark or curve or bump or whatever it is. I earned those. For me, it just goes back to be loved so wholly, and by wholly, I mean WHOLE, that kind of, whole, to be loved so completely. It makes me feel amazing. And I I truly do. I wear him on my sleeve and I'm proud of it. But for myself and my own journey, you know, it's like I really had to get to know myself. I really had to get to know the good parts of me, the bad parts of me. That's the thing. It's like no one's perfect. You know, the idea that we should be perfect, or the idea that we should forget about our insecurities, I think is kind of insane, because it's human to question things. It's human that life is going to throw different situations and new circumstances at us. But if we don't dive into those darknesses, if we don't take a true look at who we are and what those unlikable qualities are, we won't grow.